Folks, we got Steve Merrill here. He stops by each and every week to break down the biggest games in college football. You can catch Steve's complete work at Wager Talk TV, wagertalk.com as well. Look at the banner, 17-5 against the spread. That's an exclusive pick that Steve gives us here at the Voice of College Football. You get that by being a channel member on the main channel. So just go to the main channel, $3 a month. Also, patreon.com/MarkRogersTV. Steve, we got Michigan State, we got Nebraska. Nebraska, despite their struggles, despite their issues at quarterback, everything, ugly record, ugly games practically every week, they are in contention for the Big Ten Western Division title at 3-2 in a four-way tie right now. They travel to Michigan State. Michigan State has lost 6 straight, but they're generally hanging in games depending on the opponent.
Yeah, the problem is, though, they still aren't winning games, and this is a team that's now lost 6 straight, and they did get the cover. Their only cover during that span, depending on your line, was by a point against Rutgers. They were a 4-point dog at Rutgers, lost by 3. Michigan, they get blown out. We can't read much into that. But then last week against Minnesota, they did lose by 15. Is only about a touchdown dog. The problem now is that this line's around that key number of 3. So if you like either team here, you basically have them in a straight-up win situation. And I actually make the line only about 1.5. Problem being, though, that my math model has favored Michigan State in most games this year, and I have not used them a single time because of all the situational, distractions that the program has had. The 10,000 game simulation is just looking at the numbers, and even with the numbers, obviously the last month or so, those distractions have been priced into the final scores. So I guess at this point, you can make a case that my simulation is somewhat pricing in all the problems that Michigan State has had since September. So I do think there's some value now with Michigan State at +3 or more. I like this Nebraska team. I've used them a few times this year. They're 5-1 straight up their last 6 after those 2 opening losses against Minnesota and Colorado. And as you know, Mark, they could have won both of those games. Definitely the Minnesota game. And the Colorado game, the 22-point loss was very misleading. A 4-1 turnover deficit in the thin air and altitude really made the difference there. But they are back in the picture, as you said, here in the Big Ten. I think if Michigan State's going to step up and win a game, though, it could be this week. They don't throw the ball well, don't run the ball that great either, but Michigan State does match up well with a decent defense against a below-average Nebraska offense as well. The total speaks for itself. It's around 34.5, as you mentioned. 34 is actually a very key number. A lot of totals get you to 34. 35 is somewhat key as well. And my colleague, Ralph Michaels, the human database stat daddy at wagertalk.com, pointed this out about a month or two ago with one of the Iowa games, that blindly playing under when the total is 36.5 or less, a really ugly number because 37 is the key number. So you're theoretically taking a bad line, 36.5 or less. At the time, it was like 20-5. I think there's been an over, a few more under since. So it's still hitting over 75% the past several seasons. So I know this total is low, but it's probably not low enough historically.
I don't know how Ralph does it. That's considerable to have not only the numbers crunched like that, but to have 2 or 3 nicknames. That's there's not many of us that can pull that off.
That is true. Yeah, he's been around for a while. He's a big, hefty guy too, so he can carry 2 or 3 nicknames. But yeah, he's got a database, and the funny thing is, his son Jeff Michaels is now on WagerTalk.com as well. So we have a second generation of the Stat Daddy and the Stat Prince, as they're calling him now.
Great stuff. You get Steve's Under the Radar selection at the main channel. So become a YouTube channel member over on the main channel or on patreon.com/MarkRogersTV. Too many benefits to run down right now, but the main one you need to know about is Steve's Under the Radar selection. So please sign up there. Steve, thanks for stopping by.
Always fun, Mark. Thank you.